Hello, 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 everyone. I hope that this message finds you alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic about life and living. If not, hopefully, once we finish, you will be excited and enthusiastic about life just like we are, and it will lift you up. I welcome you to the first edition of the Strong Intuitive Women Girl Chat. This is a going to be a weekly Friday show that I'm going to be holding in the Strong Intuitive Women's group. So I'll give you all the information so you can join that group. But this is a chance for us to celebrate. You know, I've been telling you about claiming um, your intuitive power. Well, hey, like I said, I have been working it and I want to share it with you. And there are so many people, all my friends, that have been doing it. So I've invited a couple today to share with you because too often we do not celebrate and know that others, hey, the struggle can get tough when you're waiting for stuff to bloom. But when it does, we're here to let you know if you don't quit, it will happen. For those of you who don't know, I am Elizabeth Green. I am an intuitive life coach and also the author of Building Spiritual Muscle. It is my joy, my pleasure to help all of you highly intuitive, natural born leaders, which I call indigos, live your best life now. And I really believe you do that by claiming your intuitive powers. So this next hour, I have, like I said, I've invited friends over to help share their joy and what they have been into. The first one that I am going to invite on is Karen Fern. Karen is was my partner in crime when we did Blab. And that was, for those of you who don't know, that was the beginning of multiple people online all over the world. And you could actually see them. And Karen is from Karen is in Canada. I had to think about it. I'm in Vegas. Karen is in Canada. I said good morning, but to Karen, I have to say good afternoon. So let me welcome Karen on, and she's going to just tell you briefly who she is, and then I'm going to introduce you to my second guest, and then we are going to chat. So, if you have any questions for any of us, I will keep reminding you, just put it in the chat. It takes us a minute to get it, so we're not ignoring you. So, Karen Fern.
Hi, as Elizabeth said, I'm Karen Fern, and I'm a money mindset coach. And I help either beginning business owners, or if you're stuck, really work through your numbers, understanding how money works, really from the beginning. I really like to tackle people that way. And mindset shift in terms of allowing you to shift your mind from whether it's a poor state or you're in bewilderment into achievement. That's what I like to say. I like to take you from bewilderment to achievement. And I've been coaching for forever, but in the online space for about 3 years now, full time. I also the founder of the Money Mindset Academy, and I myself have written a few books, Being Unstuck being one of them. Little Dribbles is my new book that's just finished, and a number of other books included some kid books. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, but what I really like about Karen is what is the name of the group? West End.
Island Girl Hustle.
I've
branded to Island Girl Hustle.
Island Girl Hustle, because that is what she does. She is from the islands, and she has taught me, a person who has had a business since she was how old? Selling oranges? 9 years. 9 years old, and you are from, Karen?
I'm from Guyana, South America. That's where I'm originally from, and I've been living in Canada for about 27 years now. But born and grew up for the first 26 years of my life in Guyana, and that's what we do. Jobs are other things on our mind. We got a business and we got to go.
And she has 1, 2, 3, 4, because she understands that regardless of where you start, or what you may have, that you can achieve whatever goal you set for yourself. Okay. And she does it by teaching you how to deal with money. Okay. So we're going to talk more with Karen in just a little bit. Let me bring back my, I'm playing with my toys. Aren't you proud of me, Karen?
I'm seeing that.
I'm going to drop Karen out for a minute so I can introduce you to my next guest. And my next guest is Tiffany Rochelle. And again, met Tiffany through Blab. She was in California. She's now in Florida, and she trots around in Africa every now and again. So I'm going to let you tell you a little bit about herself. Go ahead, Tiff.
Well, thank you for having me on your show, first of all, Liz. And it is true that Liz and I met on Blab, and when we met, we were both in very different places. And so our journeys have expanded. And I started out as a spiritual intuitive healer, and I still am, but my reach and my vision has expanded beyond just that. So at this current time, I consider myself a philanthropreneur. And what that means is that I am working diligently at being a connector, almost like a dating service between philanthropists, which is anybody who has a time, talent, and resources to give to someone else, give to an organization or a community, and the communities that they desire to serve. So what I found is I'm a giver by nature, and there's a lot of people who want to give, but they don't know how to, or they don't know where to. And so I'm aiming to make it softer and easier, and then also making it fun, so people can actually have the experience more than just writing a check. And then also on the opposite side of that, working with organizations to help them create sustainable relationships that are beneficial to their members, as well as to the subject or the cause that they are championing. So.
Okay, that is the official byline. But what I love about Tiffany is she is truly intuitive. She in my book, Building Spiritual Muscle, I talk about indigos, and she read the book for me. And what did you find about the book, Tiff? What discovery did it allow you to have?
I say the biggest thing is that I like that the book was very relatable. And I'm woo, but I'm not woo woo. So for me to have someone to speak to my intuitive nature and to the spiritual aspects of my being without being out into the ethers was really great. But also just confirming and pushing forward to say, keep going, and then trusting, really, confirming the importance of trust in heightening your intuition beyond any ritual, beyond any regular practice. trusting what you feel, trusting what you see, what you hear in your spirit, and how important that is to progression. That really.
Yeah. Making a decision to be able to trust your intuition, like I talk about that. I started my journey trying to decide why I saw, felt, heard things that other people didn't, and trying to understand this. And what these two ladies are really, when I bring them back on, is to, as we connected, we realized we all had gone through the same journey, and we doubt our intuition. But when we begin to trust it, that is what can lead us, guide us through our path. So, ladies, let me bring you back. And there we go. Bring us all back here. And so that we can talk about, I just moved and I had a stroke. Sometimes people see folks and they think that it's easy for you. Okay? They think, oh, I'm going to take 30 days and I will 30 days and I'm going to have $1 million. Okay? Just think it into power. But when you recognize that it takes work to do it, and it's staying firm, and these ladies have helped me to stay firm and to get over the hump. And what's surprising is I found out that they've been going through the same thing. So let's celebrate, yes, manifestation, because we manifest everything, but we tend to only want to celebrate that which is good. I mean, that, yeah. We have to acknowledge when everything we manifest. So let's celebrate the good, because it's all in a thought. Who wants to go first? Tell them about all the good stuff that's been happening to you. Tiffany?
Okay, I guess I'm elected. Well, before I start with what has manifested, I think it's important to talk about the journey. And so you touched on it briefly that, in these journeys, there's ebbs and flows. And right now, especially in the coaching world is changing. But for the longest time, there's been people, follow me so I can tell you how to make 6 figures, do this, and how I manifested this. And they're only presenting the ideal portion of the message. I've always been authenticity. And so I will tell you the ugly portion of the journey, right? And the ugly is that following intuition is not easy, because it does require trust. But sometimes we're stepping into uncharted territory, and a lot of times it's just very unknown. And so it's hard to trust the unknown. But the more that I began to trust the step and just say, just take the step, take the action, take the step, and what needs to show up will, the easier it became, the quicker the journey became. And so in doing that, learning the ebbs and flows and learning when to listen and to sit down and to be quiet and to be on social media and to come back off, because our nature is to work. Even as entrepreneurs, it's like, well, if I'm not doing something, I'm not being effective. And honestly, some of the biggest breakthroughs that I've had in this have been when I've been being quiet, when I've been being still, so that I could get grounded, so that I could hear what spirit was saying to me, what the universe, what intuition was leading me to do. And so,
and sometimes if we don't stop, Our guides will not. I call it the psychic 2x4 because you know we, like you said, our nature is we want to work, we want to work, we want to work. Well, sometimes when you don't listen and pick up on the cues that they say, maybe you should be quiet. They'll knock you on your butt. So all you can do.
Said that because that's exactly what I was segueing into, is that I've literally just come off what I call spiritual bed rest, because I was in Africa, and like you said, I do a great deal of my work in Africa. I work with villages and townships and women and youth over there, doing leadership development to get them, you know, moving in their communities, to create businesses, to create change. And it's a very energetically and physically and mentally draining work. I love it, but it does take its toll. And every time I personally go to Africa, I have an up level spiritually, but I also have a breakdown for a breakthrough.
Yeah.
And so this last time in July was the most profound. And when I came back, I was like, okay, I'm gonna teach this class, I'm gonna do this stuff, I'm gonna be right back on track. And literally my life became chaotic. But and my life is never chaotic. I mean, I just don't have a chaotic life. So it was really interesting to see the way things were happening. And every week I kept getting ready to go, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to build this course. I'm going to do this marketing. It was like, okay, no, you're not. Hurricane. Okay, no, you're not. No power. Okay, no, you're not. Phone broke. Okay, no, you're not. Your friend had a death. Okay, no, you're not. Your parents got sick. No, your parents moved. Like, it was every single week something that required my personal attention and emotional energy.
And let me stop for a minute. I forgot to mention that Tiffany is in Florida right now, right? In what part of Florida?
I'm in Hollywood, so that's right between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. So
she was one of those that had to pack up her stuff and move. Yeah. All right.
Had to evacuate.
So stuff happens to all of us. All right.
And it was crazy because I kept going, but because I've been on this journey enough, I didn't go, oh my God, I can't move. It was like, okay, well, I guess it's not this week. And I just kept taking it week by week. Well, I guess it's not this week. And then, you know, for a long time, for a year, I had done a video series on Periscope where every morning I was doing Breakfast with Tiffany. I couldn't even get back into the video. I couldn't think. I couldn't create. And so I was just like, oh, okay, well, I guess not this week. And I just learned to sit in the quiet. I learned to sit in the inability to create at that moment. I didn't think my creativity was gone for good. But then after a while, it was going on. I was like, am I crazy? Am I making this up? But there were so many things that happened in the quiet, because though there was chaos around me and I had to deal with it because it was mainly my family and my friends, it was still quiet for me because I wasn't able to focus on my thoughts about me, about what I was doing, about even my business. And so in the quiet time, it's just like, okay, well, something's going to change. And literally, I came up out of the fog and everything is just like dominoes, just falling into place. It was kind of like, okay, now it's time. The doors are open. The doors to the church are open. You can come in, right? It's like, come in now and make it work. And
I have been doing the happy dance since December 1st. I mean, my face is hurting from so many smiles. But now, like I said, it's not just the two of us. Karen's been celebrating too. Karen, tell us what's been going on with you.
Well, I've been celebrating just because, just because of life and as a whole, right? And I hear Tiffany, there's down times where you want to create, you want to do, and you just can't because you need that quiet time. I talk about it a lot, but when I did business in Ghana, there was this time that I would always take some time off, but I never could have explain why I would just get to this point where I needed a 2 weeks, a week, sometimes 3 weeks, and I would do nothing. And my customers would come and they'll ask me what's going on. And I swear that, they would be gone when by the time I revamped back the business, but they're always there. It was this part of my life that I can't explain. I couldn't explain at the time, but I'll go into, and what happens in that time, I'd be reading a lot of books. No books that makes no big sense, no big revelation books, but just I'd go to the library, I'd go to the paid library, actually I used to go to, and just get books that I would never normally read and just take me there. And when the time was up, I knew it because I'll get right back on the bandwagon. The people will come and it will just flow again. And I noticed that if I don't allow myself that downtime, it will just present itself. I would just be presented with it. So I have to go through the period where when that time is about to begin, I better pay attention.
Now, Karen talks about the downtime. Now, this child has, how many businesses do you have? She's got so many. Island Girl Hustle. Means
and
that
hustle is not a bad word.
Correct. Explain what you mean by hustle, because yes, we are trusting. It's our job to know what we want.
Yes. First of all,
it is Spirit's job to know how. And like Tiffany was saying, taking that next step. You feel like you are what was it, Indiana Jones, where he had to step out and you're like, shit, I'm a fall if I step. And they said, go ahead. And you said, so she has been following that with several businesses. She's listening to that voice and it's getting, it's really tuning in and claiming your intuition and then applying it to how many businesses again?
To applying it. And I started stream things down online. So I have a cleaning company and that serves a few offices, and mainly we focus on residential homes. So I have employees and I've got a boutique. I've pulled it off, but what the people that know me, don't leave me alone. So that gets filtered in, and my coaching service, which also have the school attached to it. So that encompasses it on its own. And when I say Island Girl Hustle, I mean that because you have to have this built-in downtime, you want to build systems in place so that you can have things happening when you're having downtime. My employees know me so well that they can tell if I'm having a downtime. And I've got people that have been working for me for a long time that we build it in such a way so that they can just look after. They don't really necessarily need me. And I wouldn't take on new clients at that time because I can't be as great as a company owner as I'd like to be. And I had to acknowledge that and just be okay with it. These are things you got to be okay with yourself and don't go crazy. So when I say hustle, I mean understanding your numbers, allowing your mind to understand. Because the brain, funny, it takes you into this place where I only need my bills paid, and then you only get money for your bills paid. And so you don't know that you need beyond your bills paid. You have to be able to say this. So that this business is being set up to make, $2,000 a month, but is that covering my bills? And if it does, then you need to set up the business to give you $5,000 a month, so that when you have your downtime, there's some built-in monies in there. So all those sort of things you want to really be thinking about.
Yeah, and from a person who, Tiffany says she's not really woo-woo. Well, I'm not really woo-woo, but I do listen to my intuition. I'm not as grounded, and that's what Karen has helped me be grounded in the numbers, to understand that as I follow my intuition, I definitely do need to also set up systems to manage the abundance that I'm going to receive. And it's not just A little bit, that's what, Karen briefly mentioned that, it's not just enough, because remember, we get what we expect and what we ask for. And so, we feel that we're being modest or I don't need a mansion.
Humble.
I don't. What's the word, Tiffany?
You know the one they teach us, humble. Be humble.
Okay. And I've learned that, hey, I am, and that's my calling to remind you, I am a blessed child of a king, that I should have an abundance. And when I have an abundance, when I let my light shine, I am not taking away from anybody else, because it's all energy. What do they say? Money, an acronym for money, is my
own energy. It's really, I mean, I can give you the whole rest, but it's really that. It's your own natural energy that causes you to gain money. And that really, when people hear this, they think that you have to be hands-on. And I myself, when I first started business, if I wasn't doing, I couldn't see making any money. So everything had a correlation in all that I do. And years ago, when I sat with myself, I said, if I didn't work another day in my life, what would happen? And I start answering those questions with what would I put in place and what would I do and how would I see that flow? And so I encourage all my clients that to have this income where you're actually working for the money, but then have the income where the money works for you. And then you have something where kind of combine the two. And that way you don't feel in this lurch. It's not, money is not everything, yes, but money is the thing that we need to do to pay for the things that we want to do, grow, and live in our business, right? So if that's part of it and you want it to be part of it, then you have to have these different setups so that you can really benefit from it financially as you grow. Because as you grow, you're going to need more, right? That's just a fact.
I like that you said that too. I'm sorry, just to interject, is because being around entrepreneurs and being around people building things, one of the old school, I think it's starting to shift, but one of the old school ideas that kind of hurts entrepreneurs is the idea that this is my baby, I have to hold it tight just like this, versus let me build it to sell it. Let me build it and let me replicate myself so that if I don't wish to sell it, I have people who can run it in my absence. And I'm 1,000% clear. In every place that I touch, my goal is to replicate myself so they don't need me. Exactly. I don't want to be needed. I want to be icing. I don't want to be needed.
And I learned to watch the words that I was saying. I'm 60. How old am I? I'm 66. Okay. And so people say, oh, well, you are retired. You're on a fixed income. Cancel. But I had to get past, I recognized I was saying that, people say, well, you're on a fixed income. I'm like, well, wait, no. What I was finding that I was locking out stuff. I was closing doors because of the words that I was saying, just enough. So I want to emphasize to folks who listen to this is that watch the words. That's one of the reasons that I'm pulling the group together, is so that we can support and we can catch each other when we say, oh, I only need that, or I have a job. And there's nothing with having a career, but a job is just above broke. You can, when you find your passion and you have a career, I never considered myself as working because for 30 years I was doing my own thing, and there was always money coming in because I expected money to come in through expected and unexpected channels, but but I discovered and I've learned that I don't like having a job. Yeah, Tiff, did I see you raise your hand?
Oh, no, there was a little gnat. I was
okay. But so watch your words. And again, I want to encourage you to join. I'm going to put it up, the Strong Intuitive Women, because every Friday I'm going to be inviting friends into the group. I'm going to be having members of the group come on so that you can share your celebrations, because in recognizing when you're working out, that's where I wrote Building Spiritual Muscle. When you're working out, girls, it helps to have a team. I talk about, we exercise a lot. and when you're building muscle, it's easy to get the diet plan. It's easy to get the exercise plan. But it's up to you to do the work. I don't know about any of you, but I've had it where I know I can't work out by myself because it's hard working out by yourself. I'll put the tape into the the TV, and the girl says, lift your legs, and you do 1, 2, and then you sit down with your cup of coffee and go ahead, girl, and not do it. But when you have somebody with you, and that's why we're, having a group that is going through and celebrating with you. You said, well, hell, they lifted their leg one more time. Let me lift mine. But I rattled. Let me stop, ladies. What do you have to share?
Karen?
Well, because when you see somebody going ahead, when you're in a group and you notice people going ahead, you can feel bad and take a step back. Sometimes that happens. But if you want to really grow you and get moving forward, it's really nice to have people to keep cheering you on. I had put it out, but I got busy and didn't really follow through with it, where I was looking for a number of women to cheer them on. When I started my group, I started with an accountability with me and about 5 ladies. But I realized I was the only one in there who really wanted to move. So the other ladies weren't really doing anything. And not to sound bad, but I had to just kind of let them go because they weren't doing anything. And as the group has up-branded to Island Girl Hustle. And it doesn't mean hustle because you want to make $1 million. It just means that if you have a business, and I like to put it this way, it's your bloodline to make money. Just like we need blood pumped to our heart. If you're not doing that, you're not in business. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever that number is, you have to market towards getting to that number. You have to set realistic goals and unrealistic goals. There's 2 types of goals. There's not only unrealistic. You need a realistic goal and then the unrealistic goal. And that simply means you got a big picture for the unrealistic that to the naked eye seems that way. And then the realistic goals that you're going to meet today, tomorrow, and as you go along, And so those are the sort of things that we started out with. But then that's why when anybody asks for an accountability buddy, I don't volunteer anymore, because if you really want to be accountable, the first person you have to be accountable to is yourself. And if you can do that, you can be accountable to somebody else. But if you can't, you're not going to be accountable to me. Doesn't matter how hard I try.
That is so true. And and this is not in judgment, this is just an observation, is that's what's happened to a lot of groups, especially in Facebook, where you get all these hundreds and thousands of women that are looking for quote unquote partnership. But what it kind of turns into is people are looking for friends. They're looking for friends, and they're looking for people to listen to them and go, look at me, look at me, look at me. And in the privacy behind the Facebook name, they're not doing anything, or they're not really motivated to go and move forward, and they're putting on a facade, but they're creating a different type of anxiety for themselves. So I have limited interaction in groups, and I'll be quite honest, I can't handle it. It's too much energy of that for me. And also I understand that there's a lot of people that are like me. We don't want to be in there all the time. And so it's not fair to other people who are looking for that, for me to be a part of that. Because I'm like, you guys are going to see me once in a while, because I can't spend all day hanging out with you. I can't spend all day doing this thing. So, you know, I like the fact that, you know, you can pick a small group, but also the thing that comes in this group is perspective. And what I wanted to share was just the perspective on what Elizabeth was talking about earlier, about how we get what we ask for. And if you don't mind, I'll just reshare the story that I shared with you, is how I was having a conversation about worthiness, because at the end of the day, most of us are in a conversation about worth, even when we don't recognize it. I was one of those people who didn't recognize it, because I have great self-esteem. But self-esteem has little or nothing to do with the worth conversation that is at the core of all of us. Meaning,
Exactly.
I deserve abundance. I deserve happiness. I deserve peace. And so in the midst of having this conversation, and my friend was telling me that her worth conversation was, why would anybody want to be nice to me or do something nice to me for me? My conversation, I said, that's not my conversation. My conversation looked like, that don't let me make a bother. No, I don't want to bother you. Let me not make a fuss. I could just do it myself. Why would I bother somebody when I could just do it myself? And that's what some of us, and many of us, struggle with, is I can do it myself, when in actuality, we're blocking out our ability to receive more because we're trying to do everything ourselves. And it's not even just I'm a strong, independent woman. It's not even that, because I don't have that energy. But I still had that, I can just handle it. Don't let me make a fuss. And so in the midst of this conversation, and I was saying, you know, I'm wondering why I'm praying for people around me, and I'm helping and mentoring people around me, and they're all being blessed. And I said, and I'm just asking for enough to cover blah, blah, blah. And in the midst of me saying it, God filtered right in, was like, because you're asking for $1,500 and you're supposed to have 15 million. And it was like, and I can't give that to you because you'll settle. And that's the thing that we get to understand, how many of us are settling for just enough because we don't know, we don't realize we're supposed to have more. And because we're humble, we want more. Our mind says we want more, but even though our mind says we want more, our spirit has to recognize we deserve more.
And that's my goal. That's my goal with this group, is not, and understand, I have not been a Facebook person. You know, it's nice that you have cats. It's nice that you ate at a particular bar, but I ain't got time to do that. I'm using it as a means, one, to connect. I can connect with Karen in Canada. I can connect with Tiffany in Florida, and we can share ideas and then move on into our own life, our own world, because I used to have to do this on a plane. You know, I traveled from 10 to 15 days a month for 10 to 15 years. Okay. And I love to connect and to see how, I don't care what our past or life experience. I go back to the indigo thing. We have certain traits. I believe we came here for a reason, a purpose. And it is time for us to stand up and shed our light. One of the traits of an indigo is we've been pushed to do it ourselves when we were young. And so we have learned to stand on our own. We have learned to not ask or even accept help. One of the things that, my guides really have emphasized to me is that spirit works through people, okay? And so, we need to open up, and that's why I'm doing it specifically for women. We need to open up our heart and allow the blessings and abundance to flow in. And by being together, two or more, there shall I be. It is, like, even though we're separated by distance, we are energetic beings and we are connected. And as we allow our light to shine, we give you permission to let your light shine. And so it's like this group, it is my, and because I'm not a groupie, I got myself down to 2 or 3. I got a schedule to come on, but I want there to be a place that if you have a question, because like we said, it is hard when you are working toward your goal, when you are planting the seed, it is hard when you're sleeping on an air mattress that got holes in it in your son's bedroom. It is hard to visualize, to stay firm, to stay strong, that yes, you can. So, but it is possible, and that is what it is time. I want to, it is my intention. When I make up my mind, it is my intention that 2018 will be the year that we step into our power.
Oh, yes.
That I awaken and begin to connect. Remind you how powerful you are. Because if you can remember how powerful you are and tap into your intuition, nothing is impossible.
Nothing.
Nothing is impossible. Ladies, I want to make sure that you give your information let's see. Let's go with Karen first, because I'm looking at the time. Karen,
okay,
how can people get in touch with you, and what's going on with you?
So I'm going to grab this stuff right away as we talk here, before I say anything else.
If you can put it down into the comments.
I'm waiting, it's just circling around. But yes, Liz was saying, I have a program that starts on the 12th of this month, actually. It's called Prepare, Plan, and Profit. And it is, I was sitting around and I got the name. It was just downloaded, and that's what the program name. And once I named the program, I'm those kind of people, if I'm writing a book, most people write a book and then get a title for the book. I'm the kind of author who has a title and then I write the book off of what I'm writing off of. And so as I prepare this program, I noticed that I've got so much of the material done already. So I've been prepped along the way before I even put this program together. And I realized I had so much of it already. And why Prepare, Plan, and Profit? Because you ever notice if you sit down to plan something, it could be hard. It could be a task on its own because you're like, what am I planning for? But when you're prepared and you get to the planning stages, you just go ahead and just plan it out. And if you're going to work off of the plan, and here's the part where it's the work, you got to put in the work to see the profit out of it. So I am not offended when the marketers start talking about, getting a marketing calendar together and all that stuff. Some of us have never put any of that together. So it seems so cumbersome and hard, but it's not really. It just seems that way because you've never done it before. But when you do that, it really makes you see what your day is like, what your week is like, what your month is like, and the earnings from your activity. I always say, if you start a business, it's your job. This is the job you're going to do until it becomes your business. It's not your business yet because you're doing all the work. It becomes your business when you start putting a team together. You got your assistants with you, you've got the social media people with you, you got your marketing people with you, and you can put them all together and say, hey, for the next 2 months, I want to watch and see what you're going to do with this stuff because I'm going to step away. And give them an opportunity to work in their geniuses. And then you're running a business.
So Karen, how can they get in touch with you? If you put it into the team chat down there, I'll put it up. So
I'm just gonna grab the link right now and just put it there so that they can.
Okay.
Right here. Okay, very good.
Place it into the comments. I don't know if you can from your side.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll let me do it, but
okay.
Or maybe you can pick it up from in the Island Girl Hustle group. It's right there. You can pick up that if it allows you. Maybe by you're the host, it's not letting me do it.
Okay.
So maybe you can put it in there. But that's the link. You can go and sign up. And I want to always talk about when I offer something, the money. So there's no hiding there. It's gonna cost you about $1,300 Canadian dollars upfront. But if you went on the monthly plan, it's going to cost you $125 a month, which is less than $100 US. And you get to pay it in a 12 months space only because for the first 90 days is where you get me like this. We're talking and interacting. But I want to keep people in there for the whole year because I know that 90 days is not enough. But 90 days is to get you kicking your butt and get you hustling, get you doing your stuff. But for the other 9 months, if you will, is getting all those other pieces that your business need, that you come in and you do it because I've got those courses ready to go.
Okay. Thank you very much, Karen. And I'm going to go and pick it up while Tiffany gives you how you can be able to catch up with her. And let's see, I think I put it in here.
Okay. Well, as you said, I'm Tiffany Rochelle, and what I have manifested recently is I have launched officially my nonprofit organization, the Global Legacy Builders Foundation, which I'm super excited about. So Elizabeth has put the link right there, glbfoundation.org. I'm officially launching my Global Leadership Academy in South Africa in January. So the goal is that in the next 5 years, this will be a fully functioning philanthropic organization that changes the face of philanthropy and lets people know that it's not just about a check. This is a hub for anyone, because a philanthropist is technically anyone who has a desire to give time, talent, or resources. And so collecting philanthropists and giving them opportunities to give other than just a check. And then also on the other side of that, I work with organizations to help partner them with philanthropists and partner them with people who are passionate about giving to benefit their organization, but also to help them become sustainable and to be able to really uplift their members into a next level more than just receiving. So that's what I'm working on. I'm super excited. I encourage people to go to my website, sign up. I'm still adding things, but you'll get the gist of it, and know that, of course, we're always accepting donations because we go, my project, my academy that's opening in January, I'm servicing a township and villages within the Northwest province of Africa and in South Africa, and they don't pay for my services. This is where the philanthropy and the connection for community comes together. So our sponsors, sponsorship, donations, every little bit helps, and it goes to help us, again, create changes in these communities.
Thank you so much. And for Karen's information. I put it in the comments, but I'll show it here. It's a Facebook group, Island Girl Hustle, Island Girl. So you can go over there and find out. I don't know if that's the one that you wanted me to show, but Karen Fern is her name.
Yeah, you're fine. You're right. I was trying to let you pick up the program and put it in, but never mind. If you go in the group, it's in the group anyway, so that they can click on it.
So, and I hope that this celebration has, well, I enjoyed it. I don't know.
Me too. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. Great conversation. You know, it's great conversation. And everything starts with conversation. If you don't want to have a conversation, you have to get out of business because you got to build a relationship.
I love the fact that you ladies came on to share with me, to share the joy, to share the energy with me. Just want to remind everybody that I am Elizabeth Green, and I've got a bunch of things that are going on. I would invite you to join the Strong Intuitive Woman's group, because we will be having every Friday this girl talk, because I got a program that I can bring whoever I want, wherever you are, onto the show and talk to you and get to know you. And folks, what I want to leave you with is things will get tough when you're building muscle. Okay? When you are claiming your intuition, things can be rough. But if you stick to it, the blessings, and more blessings. And you know, when you begin to count your blessings each and every day, that's how they multiply. When you say thank you each and every day, you find that you have more and more to say thank you for. And I want to leave you with a poem that I put up, and I have to read it a lot, and it's called Don't Quit. And if you would like a copy of it, you know, even if you're listening to this on replay, just put down in the comments and I'll make sure I get it to you. But it's called Don't Quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. For life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us will someday learn. And many a failure turn about that might have won if they stuck it out. Success is just failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the cloud of doubt. And you never know how close you are. You may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. I hope that you have found value. If so, please do like. And may light, love, and plenty of laughter accompany you on the path. I am Elizabeth. May you have a blessed one. Okay.